In the southern lands of Australia, the ideal combination of geographic and climatic factors has led to the growth of dense rainforests along the eastern continental fringes. These eastern rainforests are an ecological utopia, hosting a diverse range of flora and fauna, many of which are specialized for their niche habitats. However, as with most things relating to Australia, these forests can pack a punch if you're not careful. And no, I'm not referring to the usual snakes and spiders you often hear about. Though to be fair, many of those creatures are also found in the eastern jungles. No, the organism we are looking at today isn't even an animal, but a plant. Here, take a look at this typical rainforest photograph. Notice anything in it? If not, this one might be a bit easier. Still no? Well, if so, you could have just potentially bumped shoulders with this plant here. This unassuming guy is called Dendronites moroides, more commonly called the Gympie-Gympie, the stinging tree, or the plant. These fearsome names come from the fact that this plant has the ability to deliver debilitating stings to any creature that happens to brush up against it, including unwary hikers. A member of the nettle family Urticaceae, the entire plant is covered in stinging hairs, including its stems, leaves, and even the berries, which are reportedly edible once the stingers are removed, but I've not tested this. These stingers, referred to as trichromes, and the poison they contain are both fairly hardy, as evidenced from rotting plants still being capable of inflicting painful stings. Take a look at this decayed leaf. It has a slightly fuzzy look to it, but that's not because of mold. If we zoom in further, the ever-sharp needles become apparent. The trichromes on these plants are even silicified at the ends, meaning that they are effectively coated in glass to act as perfect little hypodermic needles when they break and inject their painful concoction. The exact makeup of the poison is still under investigation, but recent studies have pointed to a potent mixture of gympie-tides, a subset of peptides first identified in Dendronites members, as being the culprit, including one named after this particular plant, moroidin. According to some sources, the toxicological makeup of these plants also bears a striking resemblance to those found in the various lethal arachnids and cone snails also found in Australia. It seems that organisms in the land down under have a very Australian way of poisoning you. Once injected, victims feel immediate and excruciating pain. The sensation is often related to an intense, searing burn, like being set on fire. The real kicker, however, is how the pain lingers. The pain continues for several hours after the sting, with many people reporting sleepless nights after the initial contact. Now, within 24 hours, the pain will often subside, but for weeks afterward, strong stimuli to the sting site will reactivate the pain. Anytime you go for a swim, jump in the shower, wash your hands, or even touch a warm cup of coffee, the pain will immediately rush back, and it'll feel like you just rubbed a leaf on you all over again. With more severe encounters, hives and proximal swelling in lymph nodes may develop, with some instances leading to hospitalization. Anecdotal tales tell of the plant frequently killing livestock, and has reportedly even driven a few unfortunate individuals to their ends in order to escape the pain. Though, these stories should definitely be taken with a pinch of salt. Even being around the plant isn't safe, as the leaves and stems are constantly shedding the stinging barbs, creating localized clouds of irritants. Individuals working around Gympie-Gympie frequently report sneezing fits, continuous coughing, sore throats, and irritated eyes. For those who do come into contact with the plant, wax strips with aloe, the ones you use for hair removal, are common treatment, though duct tape and similar methods can also be used in a pinch. For more severe cases, hospitalization and the prescription of antihistamines can help, though overall the treatments are more about pain mitigation rather than alleviation. Instead, the best steps to take are preventative, such as researching if Gympie-Gympie and other stinging trees are present in the areas you're planning to explore, and if so, knowing how to correctly identify and avoid these plants. Despite the painful rapport with humans, Some animals, such as the red-legged pademelons and the caterpillars of the Jezebel nymph butterfly, frequently feast on these toxic leaves. The plants also provide a vital role in the rainforest as pioneer species, being one of the first to develop in damaged areas, such as following a cyclone, fires, or human disruption. Here the plants serve as vital coverage for slower growing trees and shrubs in the disturbed habitats. It is likely being in this niche that the plants develop such a biting defense. Growing first and fast in a recently opened landscape draws with it higher potential to get munched on by an herbivore. This can be seen in the higher concentrations of needles and poison in younger leaves, while older and more established plants typically display smaller amounts of these defenses. Now, don't let this turn you away from exploring the beautiful jungles and forests of Australia. On the contrary, Gympie-Gympie and similar members of Dendronidae can serve as fascinating examples of the specialized adaptations various plants and animals have developed in highly competitive environments. But, like with most things wild, both in Australia and abroad, it helps to have a little bit of knowledge and respect towards these plants when out exploring. Hey, if you made it this far, I just want to say thanks. This is a new project for me, and I'm excited to continue sharing interesting stories about the natural world around us. That said, I am still definitely learning a lot with all this, so any feedback, positive or negative, you could leave down in the comments would be greatly appreciated, as I try to figure out what works and how to improve the stories I tell. Additionally, if there are any particular topics you'd like to hear about or interested in, let me know what those are as well, and if you could like or share, that would also be greatly appreciated. After all, there are countless stories waiting to be told out here in the frontier territory. Thanks for watching.